Hey, what up, fellow gamers? B Chambers from Alloy7.com, and I'm taking a look back at Two Worlds, which was one of my favorite RPGs from this generation. But as many of you probably know, it didn't do too well from the critic standpoint. And if you've not played Two Worlds on Xbox 360, which is where I played it, you've probably at least heard about its atrocious frame rate and its none too awesome graphics. I don't think any gamer or critic in his right mind would attempt to argue those points. However, if you did decide to pass up on Two Worlds, I believe you missed out on one of the best role-playing games from this generation. I believe Two Worlds gets an unjustified bad rap. I've played no other console RPGs this generation that have given me this much freedom to explore and customize my character, all while managing to keep my attention through the waves of quests and side quests. As much as I love the Elder Scrolls series over the years, I actually believe Two Worlds is more fun to play. Okay, so anybody that claims Two Worlds is more fun to play than Elder Scrolls has to be crazy, but hear me out here. Maybe part of it's because the combat system in Two Worlds felt more natural and actually works in the third-person perspective. Now, the combat system isn't perfect in Two Worlds, and if you play it now, it will feel dated compared to other games that are out on the market. But it's functional, and I had a lot of fun experimenting with the diverse skills, abilities, and spells made available by the rich leveling and customization systems. Leveling and customizing your character goes much deeper than simply putting points into the standard strength, vitality, magic, and dexterity categories. There's 38 skills here for you to develop, and with no known level cap, at least I didn't run into one when I was playing, you could literally spend hours mastering almost all of them. It's rare when a Western-style RPG actually gives you this much freedom to develop your characters. Most RPGs from this playstyle enforce a strict level cap that deters you from being able to build a truly unique character that fits your particular playstyle. This was quite possibly what made me love Two Worlds the most. I also loved how Two Worlds allowed me to stack weapons and armor to make them stronger. You'll find hundreds if not thousands of weapons and armor sets as you play through the game. Being able to stack duplicate weapons and armor pieces made loot mongering that much more enjoyable. Exploration in Two Worlds is outstanding. The world has very diverse terrain ranging from lush bamboo forests to barren deserts and wastelands. One of the gripes many gamers have with the Elder Scrolls series was the lack of action or combat while traversing the world map. This isn't so with Two Worlds. It felt like there was a wolf, orc, or bandit camp around every corner just waiting for you to ambush. Factor in the excellent weapon and armor stacking I mentioned above, and you finally have a huge open world that actually encourages you to explore beyond just completing quests. I often found myself not wanting to shut the game down late into the night, hoping to explore just one more cave or to loot just one more house to find another sword or breastplate to stack onto my existing setup. So about those horrible visuals we talked about earlier. On 360, I believe the Two Worlds development team decided to focus less on graphical fidelity and more on the little details that make an RPG so immersive, like the outstanding soundtrack, or the ambient noise from the birds and other animals in the wilds, or the muffled and metallic voices of the mages from the Silver Circle that wear iron masks, or even that tangible sense of danger as you step into the dead forest for the first time, underleveled and vulnerable to one-hit kills because the developers did such a wonderful job of balancing the combat regionally. And not to mention the lore delivered by the NPCs that gives Two Worlds its soul. Yes, even with the sometimes terrible writing.
The same question. What does a society mage seek in this?
Amber is all I need. Do not judge her by her looks.
For all Two Worlds does right, there are a few other missteps besides the bad visuals. The morality system comes to mind immediately. I appreciated the ability to sneak into somebody's house and to loot their stuff. What I didn't like was how inconsistently I was caught doing it. Even completely what I thought was out of sight and out of earshot away from a homeowner, they'd still come in the room chasing me down with a sword when I ganked something on their second floor when they were on the first floor. And there was no indication that they could see or hear me. There was no, visual cues on the screen to let you know that that was going on. And when you couple that with the fact that the city guards seemed to always want a ridiculous sum of money to let you off the hook, what you had was a system that really needed some more balancing. Also, given the amount of praise that I gave the leveling and customization systems, I'd be out of line not to mention that the respec system is at worst broken or at best overly confusing. I was never able to take my built character back to zero to build him over from scratch. Every time I paid the respec guy $2,000, he just took me back to where my character was several hours ago. And then I could keep paying him and it would go further and further back, but never back to zero. So if anybody out there knows how to make that work properly without investing $100,000, feel free to chime in.
I can take... Relax.
So, and lastly, for the negative side of the house, you have the story, which was a bit disjointed given that so much of it was delivered through NPC dialogue, and some of it's even awkward. For example, you have quest givers that would often ask you to assassinate someone in the game and then close the conversation by saying things like, "Tell me what you find out." And if you miss some of the key NPC convos, which is entirely possible because they're not mandatory to push the story forward, you'll really not know why some of the major events in the plot are even happening. And as is common with many other Western RPGs, the ending flat out sucks.
Show me the relic.
So to wrap this look back up, I can't help but feeling like there's so many other things about the game that I want to say, but I don't really want the video to be 20 minutes long. Overall, Two Worlds is just an outstanding game that's wrapped in a horrible 1980s prom dress. I felt like the naysayers couldn't get past their lust for beautiful graphics, and in their defense, the frame rate was almost enough to cause ocular bleeding, but they couldn't get past the facade long enough to notice the gorgeous features that were underneath the surface. And if you haven't given this game a shot, I really recommend it to you if you enjoy Western style RPGs like Elder Scrolls or Arcania and the Gothic series, The Witcher, games like that, and especially if you like games that give you a ton of freedom in how you approach it. And again, friends, this is B Chambers from Alloy7.com. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'll see you on the next one.
Alloy 7.